Namaste guys, this is Ashmita from artsandcraft.blogspot.in and I'm here again to share a new mini album with you, and I've titled it Baby Boy Blue, and I'm doing a 6x6 album, and the paper stack that I'm using is the special delivery from a company called Pebbles. So I've already cut up all the papers and I've utilized most of it. So I'm going to begin with the tutorial, and I'll start showing you the signatures. So this is going to be again a signature style album where I'm going to use a ribbon binding method, and I'll do a tutorial on that as well. And this is the first signature. So a picture of the baby can be snuck right behind the frame there, and it opens up this way and this way, and it has on this side it says "Said Mommy," and there's a photo mat in here, and this is for a large photo of baby with mom and dad, and this side says "Said Daddy," and it has some journaling spot here and another photo mat. So this closes in like that, and it has room for more photos on this side. So there's a lot of real estate in this one. So for this, the paper that I'm using is of course my Fabriano El Air. This is my favorite paper. This is an A4 size sheet. So I'm just going to quickly show you the measurements. For this one, you have to score at, on your landscape side, you have to score at 2 and, I'm really bad at this, 2 and 5/8 of an inch, and at 2 and 6/8 of an inch. And it's easier if you just flip it over and repeat the same scores at 2 and 5/8 and at 2 and 6/8. And then on the portrait side, you score at 1 inch, and then at 7 and 1/8 of an inch, and then 7 and 2/8 of an inch. So that the gusset we are working with is 1/8 of an inch. So that's going to act as my spine of the signature, as well as this is what is going to hold signature to the binding. So the rest of it is pretty simple. For the first signature, which is this one, and let me also show you the second signature. I've done a tutorial on this, but foolishly I don't know how I managed to delete it. So this is the first signature. Just a second. Okay, this is the first signature, and we also have the second signature. Looks exactly the same. It's the score lines for the second signature are the same, with just one difference, that when you lay this open, these side pockets are on the inside, and on this signature they are on the outside. So you get the plain photo mats on the inside on this one, like so. So I'm just going to show you the demonstration for the second signature, since the first one is identical. Just you can flip out the pockets. So I'm just going to start moving on with this one. I'm just going to grab my trimmer here, and what we need to do is, on the side that you folded in 1 inch, you need to just trim that bit off, and you can use a pair of scissors if you want to, and I'm actually really bad with scissors, so I prefer my trimmer at all times. And since it's white and I can't see very clearly, I'm just trying to line up that bit there, and you're just going to trim it till your score the gusset scores that you've made. Just going to trim them till here, and it's okay if you haven't gone all the way in. You can use your scissors for the rest of it. I'm just going to start cutting in from the outer score like that. So we've gotten rid of this bit, and for the rest of the panels, what we need to do is on this side where we've already done the trimming, I'm just going to eyeball and leave about ½ inch extra from the score and cut that. And right away I'm also going to angle this because I want this to act as my hinging mechanism. So I'm just going to repeat the same thing, leaving almost about a ½ inch away from the score. Just going to trim this up. Get rid of the papers there, and then repeat the same thing on this side. I'm just going to go in. I'm going to go in ½ an inch away from my outermost core and repeat the same thing on this side. And once I reach that point there, I'm going to cut at an angle all the way to my innermost score line like that. I hope you can see that. I'll just repeat it on this side. So you need to go in ½ an inch away from your outermost core for both of these sides, and then go in at an angle to the innermost score, because this is the length and breadth of your page. So now once you've got that done, you just are going to, you need to fold in all your scored lines. And since these two flaps are going to be the pockets, I'm just going to fold in the hinges. And the hinges need to be upwards. Like so. This one. Okay, so you have something that looks like this, and then you could also score on those two folds, because we are going to make a dimensional pocket. So I'm going to use the gussets here, and I'm going to fold it in, and I'm also going to start reinforcing my score lines on the side. Since it's a really slim gusset, you just take your time and fold them in properly. Just need to get rid of a little bit of them in the corner. Cut in like that, so that just gives me a cleaner edge. And we're just going to reverse the folds here. Since we're doing the second signature, they need to be on the outside for the first one, and the first one doesn't have this extra flap here because I just used the entire page. And for that, for this signature, I just trimmed off on both the ends here, and I use the hinges to create these pockets. So for the second one, I retained this hinge and I'm going to create a dimensional pocket with this. So now we have these, and you're just going to simply reinforce those core lines as well. Just going to go over gently on those core lines, like so. And on this side, I don't like to use my bone folder a lot on these spine folds, because if you're too harsh with this, you might just rip your paper, and you don't want that happening. So now that we have all our folds done, we can start by laying out the rest of the hinges. Let me just grab my flaps here. So to create the extensions, you're going to need 2 pieces of cardstock, and let me give you the measurements for that. They are at 5.5 by 6 1/8 of an inch. So these are going to slide right in here, and I've scored them at 2/8 of an inch inside. I'm just going to fold those like so. This one as well, like so, and I'm just going to trim this off at an angle. So now what we're going to do is, we are first going to just flip this over, and with this flap side down, I'm going to grab my glue and I'm going to add it to the hinge that we just created, the little fold there, and some more on this side. Same on this side, some on the hinge, and a little bit over on the end, right near your score line. And you're going to just grab your piece and lay it as close to the score line as you can, with a little bit of give, not all the way touching, and lay your paper down. And same thing on this side. So, and then just going to slide this over, fold this in, and add my glue to the hinges here. And it's sticking down. So this is what creates your pockets. Same thing on the other side. Just need to angle this guy. Some glue on the hinges. And some on the extension page here. Just going to down. So while this is drying, we are just going to glue this flap. And this is pretty simple. Just need to add a little bit of glue to this two little wings here. I'm just going to flip it over and I'm going to bring the hinges down. And since I can't add any pressure to it because it's dimensional, I'm just going to use my ruler to get into that hinge there, and maybe use my bone folder on the side just to press it down. Let me just show you. This is what I mean by dimensional. If you can see that this pocket is about 1/8 of an inch, like so. So just going to, this glue dries really quickly, so you don't really have to hold it down for long. Okay, so now that you have this done, this concludes the basic construction of our page, and we're just going to fold everything in to see everything works fine. And this is our base page, and I already have my packing papers cut, so let me just grab all of those and we can just start gluing everything together. So for this side, there's this page in the book that has all these lovely little squares. So I cut an entire strip out of it, and this says BOY boy, and it has these little cute images in between. So I thought that would be cute for the pocket. Since the pocket is just an inch wide, going to lay this down here. And for the inside of this pocket, I've already created a little insert. It's a tri-fold. It's a little tri-fold card, and let me give you the measurements for that. I took the entire A4 sheet, which is about 11 3/4 of an inch, and I trimmed it at 6 inches, and then I scored it at 4 and then again at 8. At 4 and then again at 8, and then I just added my packing paper on the outside. I rounded off the corners, and I used this really cute little brand there for some interest. And this guy slides right in like so. So on this side, just going to open it up. I have these two wings, and these will go underneath, and I like to slide my cardstock into the pocket so that it doesn't catch on the hinge, as well as it gives you a really finished look. So the measurements for these are, there's 3 by 6 inches. I didn't trim any of the length. I just cut one whole sheet into 2 pieces of 3 by 6. So then that's done. One down, and the measurement for this is 2.5 by 6. I think it's 2.5. Yes, it's 2.5. And again on this side. And then I'm going to glue this guy down. And this collection had some really beautiful papers. I did use some 12 by 12s from my stash that coordinated with the paper line, because there wasn't enough paper to create 2 of these minis, and like I said, I'm creating 2 of these albums. And these are just the photo mats, and these are just 4 by 6 pieces of cardstock, and they slide right in. Like so. And I had a couple of die cuts. Let's see. Okay. So this one says first tooth, and this was also there in the back, in the stack. So I just added some white cardstock to the back, and I'm now just going to add some glue to half of it, and I'm just going to glue it down right here. And if I can find the other one, okay, there it is. And this one says first haircut. I thought that was pretty cute too. So I need to glue on half of it. I'm just going to have this on this side. Just making sure it's straight. So now that's done, and on this side, just going to clear some things up, and I'll be back. Let me grab some papers for this side, and I'll be back. So I grabbed my papers, and for this center panel here, I have this really interesting pattern paper from the collection. It says birth to 36 months boys, and it has this whole graph of height and weight and all little details that the mother can fill. So that's why I wanted to give her a nice big space for her to write on it nicely. I didn't want to cut it up, and I gave and she didn't have any obstruction, and I won't be embellishing anything on this page right here. So I'm just going to add this right to the center. Like so. And on the side, I've taken 2 pieces of 6 by 5 and 2/8 of an inch, and I've just added a little bit of a border here just for some interest. This one right here. And how I intended this page to be was, since it has all his growing stage statistics right in the middle, so it'll be perfect for his parents to put his hand and feet prints. So I'm not putting anything on here. I'm not putting a mat on here because it's going to be difficult. So what I'm going to just inform the people who are eventually going to receive this to take the baby's prints on any copy of paper or any normal paper and cut it off and glue it down right here. So I thought that would be cute. So this is just going to act as mat for the original sheet that they'll be using. And what I've done to embellish this page is I have a couple of buttons that I painted white, and they're kind of unsightly right now. So the paint stuck to it. So, have one there. So I'm just going to. These are just normal regular brown, and I wanted them to look white and coordinate with the book. So I'm just going to probably going to add on the outside. It's always better to put your embellishments on the outside of the page as opposed to putting them near the spine, because that will tend to expand your spine unnaturally. So I just have to move this one over. So I have the cute little hands down there, and let me just grab the feet. And the other one. So like I said, once you close this thing, when you close this guy up, you have room for it to expand to on the outside, because you bind it obviously on one side. But if you put your embellishments inside, it'll just add bulk near the spine, and it's just going to push out your pages unnaturally, and that'll just make it more difficult for you to close it up. So I guess the paint isn't dry. I'm just going to leave this guy open for it and wait for it to dry. So those were the two signatures.